Being successful as a financial advisor is complex, but simple if you utilize these 4 products. You are what is for sale, not a specific product or account, but with just 4 quadrants, you can have a superior portfolio that a client will completely understand and appreciate.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, financial planning, being a financial advisor is complex, but it does not need to be difficult. Building the financial plan is key. You do not want to be a product salesperson. You do not want to live and die on each and every account. You want to develop a relationship in which you are the only cook in the kitchen, in which the client is turning over all of their assets to you. You become their financial officer, their chief financial officer, and you are working with them towards the goals and the aspirations that they have, either as they're approaching retirement or as they enter into retirement or as they live out through retirement. Whether they want to, have a work optional lifestyle, whether or not they want to travel, whether or not they want to be aggressive or they want to be conservative in their approaches. All of these things build toward their legacy. And then ultimately, what does that legacy look like? How are you going to make sure that what they want to have occur that lives beyond them, that it actually occurs both financially and otherwise, that you're dealing with their adult children, and on and on and on down the list. It is a very complex job. It is a complex business that you run. It is a complex relationship you have with people, but that doesn't mean it needs to be difficult. So many of you are aware of the asset cycle portfolio system. If you're not, you need to learn about it. The asset cycle portfolio system is so simple, it is profound. It takes what would normally in the old days have been, 100 or 200 page financial plan and boils it down to a dozen or 2 pages. And in doing that, it allows you to assign a job description for each and every account, so that the client will fully understand why each and every account exists and what its purpose is and what its timing is. Because the asset cycle portfolio system has a ratcheting approach to things, a timing where it ratchets through time. But I will tell you, you don't have to overthink this. First of all, our team will help you. Our business development team is there at the ready. They help. They devise these plans electronically. They can do it for you. They can coach you and teach you how to do it. They can hand the software over to you. However you want to go down that process really doesn't matter. They will make sure you are well versed. But really what it boils down to, you need 4 things, right? You need access to fixed index annuities. I'll tell you why in a moment. You need access to registered index-linked annuities. I'll tell you why in a moment. You need access to assets under management. Again, I'll tell you why in a moment. And you need access to life insurance or various other insurance-oriented products to assist with long-term care, health care, assisted living, and life insurance and estate planning type needs. And again, I'll tell you why in a minute. So here we are, these 4 items. The fixed index annuity, it's going to be in the first leg of the asset cycle. It's going to provide guarantees with growth. It's going to provide that income that you need coming out of the gate when it's time for someone to retire. So whether they're rapidly approaching retirement or in retirement, this is the mechanism I'm going to use to be able to turn on to create that first leg of retirement income. And I want to be able to guarantee it. The beauty of a fixed index annuity is I can work with those guarantees so I can lock in that income and I can still get growth on top of that. The next leg, the next kind of mid length of time section, most advisors are going to use registered index linked annuities, RILA annuities. Why? Because I can get buffered, protected growth. So I can't lose beyond a certain point, but I can still grow significantly. It provides kind of guardrails, if you will, on the accumulative product and the accumulation and the cumulative approach that they need in that second phase of time, so that when it's time to draw income out of new pieces of the new stages of the portfolio, those RILA annuities will be there to help you do that. Now, between the fixed index annuities and the RILA annuities, what am I doing? I'm buying time, immense amounts of time. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years or more. I'm buying time so that now I can invest the rest of the portfolio with assets under management. I can use a risk-managed approach to protect them appropriately during unique and unusual circumstances like financial crises and pandemics and bubbles and so on and so forth. But at the same time, I'm letting the market grow. I'm giving its breathing time. I'm giving its room. Because if you can't make your equity investments stand up and sing over a 10, 20, or 30-year time frame, well, candidly, you're in the wrong business. You are not there to manage the assets. You're there to gather the assets. You're there to manage the portfolio. Those are very different things between managing the assets and managing the portfolios. I encourage most advisors don't overly dwell upon managing the assets. Some like to do a little bit of that. They have certain models or techniques that they like to apply criteria to. That's fine. But don't get caught up in that. That's not what you get paid for. You get paid for managing relationships. You get paid for gathering assets, managing the portfolio. So I want to make sure I'm using proper, good, solid composites that I'm building for risk managed assets under management. And then finally, I'm going to throw that umbrella over the top. I'm going to use insurance for that to protect against protect the estate against erosion upon death, to make sure that certain things are covered automatically by life insurance, by asset-based long-term care insurance, or by traditional long-term care insurance, so that the rest of the portfolio gets insulated from those expensive health-oriented crises that can occur. I want to use that to protect the rest of the portfolio and let it grow and provide income and ultimately then pass on to the estate, to the heirs, to the adult children. And I want to make sure that the adult children understand all of this. So you want to have periodic meetings where you will run shotgun alongside of the patriarchs in the family to make sure that the adult children understand what they need to, because you want to make sure you keep those assets. Statistically speaking, we know that 70% of widows will leave their financial advisor when their husband dies. That's a huge problem. We also know that 66% of the adult children will leave the financial advisor once they get the inheritance. If you combine those two steps together, so I've got a husband and wife, the husband passes, 70% leaves, and then the wife passes and another 66% of the remaining 70% leaves, that is a huge deterioration of a financial practice that takes place over a slow, long period of time that you don't even necessarily draw a lot of attention to until you put math to it. These are the ways that you protect against that. You can show that you can retain 100% of those assets. Number one, your revenue, your P&L statement goes through the roof, your net worth for your practice and the valuation goes through the roof, and you become introducible, referable. People will want to introduce their people, their friends, their family, and their next generations to you. All of this fits together so tightly in the asset cycle portfolio system. What do you need? 4 things: fixed index annuities, registered index linked annuities, assets under management, life insurance, and long-term care protection. Seriously, it's complex, but it's simple.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.